Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Q and you're watching The Guru of You TV show, empowering you to become the guru of your own life at theguruofyou.com. And today, my beautiful friends, I would like to talk about the power of apology. The power of apologizing to somebody and what that can do to heal both people who are involved and probably everybody else who is involved or you're connected to. The reason why I'm making this video today is because last night I had a very amazing experience with somebody who I apologized to for something that I did long ago. Actually 10 years ago. And after apologizing and seeing what it created in that person's universe and in my universe, I was convinced about the power of apology. So I'd like to share the story with you and hopefully inspire you in one way or another to perhaps apologize to someone, something, maybe even yourself, for something you may have done that you may have even forgotten about, but that is still there somewhere deep inside, buried. 10 years ago, I was 18 years old, and I fell in love with a girl in high school, and we were together for about a year and a half. It was the first time I had ever been in love, and it was actually the last time I have ever been in love. I've met other women during this 10 years because we were only together for about a year and a half, but I never felt the way I did. I never felt how I felt for her for anybody else. So we were together for a year and a half, and we had an amazing relationship. It was truly magical. Some people thought it was puppy love. We thought it might have been as well. But it was real. The feelings were real. We had a very deep connection. And we had a very wonderful time for about a year and a half. And towards the end, I began to feel a little bit limited. I was young, and I felt like I needed to get out there in the world and see what else there was. Because I had nothing to compare or to reference, because I had never been with anybody else in that way, I didn't know how valuable what we had was. I mean, I knew that it was amazing and we were madly in love, but something inside of me said that I need to go and explore. So one day I decided that tomorrow I'm either going to ask her to marry me or I'm going to break up with her. I know that's an extreme opposites, but that's how I felt. Cheers. This is watermelon guava. Oh man, it's good. Cheers. So I decided to break up with her. And the breakup didn't happen overnight. It happened over a period of maybe almost 6 months, if I can remember correctly. And it was on and off during those 6 months. And because I was confused and I was unsure about what I wanted, I put her through the ringer emotionally. Women are sensitive, especially when they're in love with somebody. Their feelings are so sensitive and they're very easily hurt. I never did anything bad, like I never cheated on her or treated her bad. I treated her like a princess, like the princess that she was and she is. And towards the end, I was being selfish and I would pull her back and then I would let her go. And then I'd pull her back and I'd let her go. And every time I would do that, it would crush her more and more. And I was so selfish at the time that I almost wanted to say I didn't realize it, but I knew what was happening. But I was so selfish that it overcame, my selfishness overcame kindness. So at some point, it ended for good, and we completely stopped talking. But I did hurt her because I was being selfish, and I wouldn't let her go. I kept pulling her back and pushing her away. And I didn't know how much it actually hurt her. And 10 years later, which is now, we started talking again. And we spoke intermittently during these last 10 years, maybe a couple text messages, or I think we spoke on the phone maybe once or twice. But recently, this year, I started the connection again. But I didn't do it because like I necessarily wanted to get back with her. But I to this day, I still have a deep connection to her. Because during these 10 years, I've been able to do a lot of soul searching, a lot of soul work, finding who I am, what I am, where I am, what I want, what I don't want. And I've become very clear on that. And now I'm able to look back at what we had and see the value of it. Even though I haven't found anything like I had with her to compare it with, but the lack of finding that is enough to compare it with. So, but it's not just that. It's not like it's not like because I haven't found anybody, I'm trying to get back with her or anything like that. I'm actually pretty happy just on my own. I do pretty well. I would love to be in love and have a loving relationship. I mean, who wouldn't, right? But I'm not anxious for it. I don't mind not having it that much. It's not a driving force in my life to go and find a mate. I'm okay. I'm very busy with all the work that I do. But I would love to settle down. I think I'm ready to settle down. So let's get to the apology part. So we started talking again. And last night we met. I saw her. We actually met a few nights ago for the first time after 6 years. We saw each other again. Great time, great conversation. It's so amazing to see her growth and see who she's become. Very amazing. And last night we hung out again. And we started having a fairly deep conversation. And we started talking about our past, about our old relationship. And she told me how much it hurt her that I kept pulling her and pushing her. And she told me how much it broke her heart. And until last night, I honestly wasn't aware of how deep it was. She was over it by now, at least on the surface. And So she was able to openly communicate that. And what I did, because at this point, I don't like to hurt anybody. I enjoy kindness and being loving and choosing kindness over being right. And what I did, I looked her in the eyes, and then I closed my eyes, and I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, apologized for what I put her through. I apologized for my selfishness. Genuinely. Very, very genuinely. With no intention of anything coming of it. Just to clear it. To clear that energy. And this is where the power of apology comes in. Because I apologized to her, after I opened my eyes and I was done with what I wanted to tell her about it and apologizing, she looked at me, she's like, wow, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. This is like therapy. And something that was deep inside of her, there was a pain, a scar deep inside, was healed. At least began to be healed. Healing takes time, but the energy was released because I apologized. And it was very beautiful. It's very beautiful. And we also talked more, and I told her some things that I didn't like, and when we were in the relationship, and she was apologetic. That's the story of my apology to somebody who I really care about and the healing that occurred. She told me how much it helped her, how much it meant for me to apologize. So the moral of the story is, do you have anybody in your life that you may have hurt, whether you meant to or not, that deserves an apology from you? It takes courage to be willing to apologize without expecting them to apologize for anything. Just to be so vulnerable, so present, so kind and respectful of another, to be willing to apologize. Because it can be a blow to the ego sometimes. Apologizing is not always easy, especially if you feel like they did something wrong as well. But we all get to a point where it's like, you know what? Whether you apologize to me or not, I'm sorry for what I did. At least you do your part, and then that invites them to do their part. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to apologize, because they might not be in the same space of understanding as you, but they might be. The important thing is to know that even if it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, that something happened, that energy that got created with the pain and the hurt is still there. It lingers deep down inside. It's covered up and buried by so many other experiences, and maybe some other painful and hurtful experiences that we've had, but it's still there. You might feel like you're over it, but if you go deep into it, you may find that there's still energy there. And when there's energy stuck there, it acts as a limitation in our lives. It's kind of like when you know that there's energy that needs to be released, or you get in a fight with someone and you never speak again. It acts like a egg, like a rotten egg in our feelings, in our core, and it smells, and it's got a stench, and it may be covered up by a lot of stuff, but once in a while you get a whiff of it, and it affects every other part of our lives. And when you begin to do whatever's necessary, it could be apologizing, it could be to give something back to someone that you stole or took, or anything. You gotta look what it is for you. But when you heal it, it affects every part of your life and every part of their life. And when enough people start doing these things, to go back in time essentially and start healing these scars, the whole world can begin to change. So I encourage you to take a look inside and see if there's anybody who deserves an apology from you. And try it and see if it makes you feel better. It certainly made us feel better. So thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Q, and you're watching the Guru of You TV show, empowering you to become the guru of your own life at thegurureview.com. Thank you so much, and see you next time.